Hey, let me ask y'all a question. Would would you be upset if your name was up in trade rumors all the time? I'm sure the answer to that is more than likely yes, unless you unhappy about your situation. But would you still be unhappy if your name was attached to one of the greatest players of all time in a trade rumor, like Kevin Durant? Huh. So, JGoodWithSports here. Apparently, the Boston Celtics, has become maybe a front runner to get Kevin Durant here. And Jaylen Brown's name is attached to all these trade rumors involving that. So apparently Boston initially made an offer of Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and I think a couple of draft picks or so. And then Brooklyn came back, was like, let's tweak this a bit. Like, yeah, keep Jaylen Brown instead of Derek White. We want Marcus Smart and a whole bunch of draft picks. And so now, I guess it's like they're thinking like, is should we do it? Is this too much? On the other hand, it is Kevin Durant, but he's 33, 34, but he has 4 years left on his deal. He's an all-time great. Is it just, teetering back and forth? Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown, putting the letters SMH on Twitter, he upset about his name being, attached in trade rumors all the time. Because I guess before this, it was Anthony Davis. A couple years ago before that, it was Kawhi Leonard. So, this isn't his first rodeo, going through this. But, at least if you're going through this, at least, with players that are elite and not like any scrubs or anything. It's not like his name is being attached with, I don't know, Jose Calderon or Austin Rivers or anybody like that. I mean, it's freaking Kevin Durant. We know who he is. And so, and just really quick, just my whole thoughts on this whole scenario. Like, yeah, Boston, got to the finals. Boston got the experience now. Boston arguably has the best offseason, acquiring Malcolm Brogdon for scraps. And then getting Gallinari on pennies on the dollar to sign, with them after clearing waivers. You haven't really given up anybody at all this all season that wasn't, part of your core rotation. So Boston is locked and loaded. All they got to do is stay healthy, and you would think that they should be able to get to the finals and possibly win it all, right? That's one side of it. It's like, to me, but the other side is like, it's Kevin Durant, like, just like Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart for Kevin Durant and picks is like, to me, that feels like a no-brainer. It's freaking Kevin Durant. Like, yeah, he's, 34 or whatnot. 4 more years left on his deal. But if that's all you're giving up for an all-time great, a top 75, arguably top 15 player to ever, like, lace him up. And yeah, he's about 8-9 years older than Brown. It's like, still. It's like, teams always want to position themselves for the future and, just based off potential. But I know who Kevin Durant is right now. I mean, I kind of have an idea what Jaylen Brown is, but there's still another, I guess, level there. But it's like, at what point is he going to hit it? Kevin Durant is already like elite. He just got to stay healthy. Because Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum, that is scary. And then you still have Robert Williams. You still have Malcolm Brogdon. Still have Derek White. You still have Danilo Gallinari. Still have Al Horford. Grant Williams. You still got a supporting cast here. And you added Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant just replaced Jaylen Brown in the lineup. Malcolm Brogdon, he comes in, he slides right on in. And then at that point, so you have Brogdon, Durant, Tatum, Robert Williams. At the other spot, you can just, would it be Derek White? Would it be Grant Williams? I mean, you could just mix and match. Gallinari, you still have enough. You do, if you make the trade. It's just Boston is one of the rare teams in this whole scenario that actually has the pieces to match Brooklyn's demands. A young star player, and plenty of picks. That's the base. So I'm very curious to see how this one plays out. Because remember, Brooklyn doesn't have to do anything at all. They hold all the leverage here. The man still has 4 years left on his deal. I can't imagine a scenario to where they tell him like, oh yeah, right now we just can't find a suitable package for you, so you're just gonna have to, hang tight here. And he'd be like, well, I'm not gonna play. Kevin Durant loves the game of basketball. Kevin Durant is a hooper. Kevin Durant, at the end of the day, is gonna play. Because ultimately, if you don't play, you don't get paid. And I feel like that scenario is extremely unlikely to happen. So now it's another thing if he's gonna give you 100% all the time, or his heart's gonna be all the way in it. That's a whole nother story. But nevertheless, he'll still play. So I know they're trying to be accommodating, but in reality, there's no rush. They could hold this off to the trade deadline. They could hold this off to next off season if they really wanted to. There's no real rush. There's not. It's not like, his counterpart Kyrie Irving. Now, speaking of which, now he definitely knows how to stir up a headline, because now he's saying he wants to play next year in Brooklyn with or without Kevin Durant. That's his new prerogative now, because we know in the next 48 hours that's going to change. But also speaking of him, so I think a few days ago, I was listening to NBA radio, and they had this interesting poll, and I actually kind of polled the people in our Facebook group. It was concerning him and Westbrook. They said, which one has the worst reputation right now between Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook? Now, I would say this, like, the poll in our Facebook group, because I think I got 10 or 12 responses, it was 50%, dead even. The vote was split down the middle. Now, just taking a quick look into it for Russell Westbrook, I think for him, it's just more so him not fitting in, to a system, or more so his willingness to sacrifice and adjust his game. Honestly, we've seen this before with Carmelo Anthony initially. and it felt like he was blackballed out the league for a year for whatever reason, thinking, teams thinking that was a good idea when the man can still play. But nevertheless, yeah, it's like with Westbrook, his willingness to not change, not realizing that he's not the number one or number two option like that anymore. Like with the Lakers, if he can understand that he's the number three and learn how to play off the ball, then it's like it makes things a lot easier. But I don't think that's his mindset. And so let's just say, there's a rumor out there that he would get traded for Julius Randle to the Knicks. Right? Say that trade goes down. And this is when, in the scenario to where the Knicks have acquired Donovan Mitchell. So then the backcourt is Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson because they, just signed Jalen Brunson. That's their future backcourt. And, there's no room for Russell Westbrook. So either you buy in as a sixth man or we buy you out. More than likely, he's not going to buy in. So he gets bought out. And then where does he go? What team do you fit with right now? Based on your attitude. Based on how you feel. Based on how you want to play. I honestly can't think of one. So I think that's the bad or the more talked about narrative with Westbrook at this point. Now, Kyrie, to me personally, has the worst between the two as far as reputation. Yeah, Kyrie is, schematically a better fit right now for a lot more teams, but the man, does he play? Does he play ball? Can he focus on basketball? Or is it just going to be a whole bunch of theatrics? Because the general consensus is it feels like this man cost Kevin Durant a really good chance of winning a championship. Especially this past season. That man played half the season. And then even before that, the man played when he wanted to. Reports of undermining Steve Nash. Basically, putting the Brooklyn Nets, trying to, hold them hostage with his, demands and antics and whatever he's trying to do, taking a couple weeks off for this and, not showing up for that, not making sacrifices for the team, yada, 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 whatever you want to call it. It's to the point where, Kyrie Irving is so box office, a lot of fans would pay to see him. But his value has diminished so bad that the only team that was really interested in trading for him is the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's just because of LeBron James. That's the only reason. So it's for me, it comes down to, do I rather, take a guy that I know that will play hard and play every game, but just isn't the right fit, and try to make it work that way, or get a guy that is, so offensively gifted, so talented, but I can't depend on him to show up every day for work. Because he does what he wants. that's what it comes down to me. And it's like I'd rather take my chances with the guy that shows up every day, that plays hard. At least I know he's giving me effort. At least I know he cares about the game of basketball. At that point, it's up to, if I have him on my team, if I willingly have Westbrook on my team, that means between the coach and the GM, have to put him in the best position possible for all of us to succeed. Some onus is on Westbrook, for him to, want to buy in. But at the same time, if I bought him in, then it's like part of it is my responsibility for figuring it out. At least I know he'll be there. So that's my stance on that one. Nevertheless, both of these guys, something has to give. I guess, we'll see what happens there. And lastly, we're going to switch gears to the NFL, because some anonymous defensive coordinator, had something to say about Lamar Jackson here. And I'm trying to pull it up, with my phone. Here we go. So basically, this is what an anonymous defensive coordinator said on Lamar Jackson. If he has to pass to win the game, they ain't winning the game. He's so unique as an athlete, and he's a really good football player. But I don't give a bleep. If he wins the league MVP 12 times, I don't think he'll ever be one as a quarterback. He'll be one as a football player, not as a quarterback. So basically, this guy is still, stereotyping Lamar Jackson as a sensational athlete, not a guy that can win the game with his arm. Despite the MVP that he won, despite being a dominant force, he cannot beat you with his arm. I mean, I would say this much. I would definitely say this much. Lamar has exceeded expectations so far in this league. For him being the 5th quarterback taken in the 2018 class, and for him to be in position to probably get the richest contract for a quarterback in NFL history. Let's be clear. Josh Allen in that class, he deserved his money. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who went 1 and 3 respectfully, they're duking it out for their careers in Carolina right now. Josh Rosen, who I don't think who has started a game since 2019, he just got picked up by the Cleveland Browns. But we were talking about Lamar Jackson not being viewed as a quarterback. Honestly, I don't know what Lamar Jackson's ceiling is as a passer, because he hasn't had a true number 1 wide receiver yet. I know Mark Andrews has been a monster, but he's a tight end. I feel like a tight end plus a true number 1 wide receiver, then we will see exactly how high this man's ceiling is as a passer. Because as a football player, quote unquote, yeah, he's already elite. But basically to sit here and tell me that he can't win because of his arm, that's more like, we're not talking about Tim Tebow here. We're talking about Lamar freaking Jackson. And especially in the age to where, dual quarterbacks are what's hot right now, and he is the trendsetter right now. He that's blasphemy. That defensive coordinator must be from the Cleveland Browns or somebody within that division that they can't beat. That's what it sounds like. This person sounds like the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens stumped them plenty of times. Like, how dare you talk about Lamar Jackson in that manner? Lamar Jackson is a top 10 quarterback, so I'm pretty sure that that person is on a team that doesn't have one of those quarterbacks that's better than Lamar Jackson right now. Like, Lamar Jackson is about to get paid. I talked about this last time. Lamar Jackson is about to get paid. And so, yeah, to set up here that if he wins the league MVP 12 times, I don't think he'll ever be one as a quarterback. He'll be one as a football player, but not as a quarterback. Man, if you don't go sit down somewhere. I mean, I get it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And not all, opinions, negative opinions towards, somebody or some situation doesn't mean that they're hating. But I feel like this one means that he's hating. Man. But anyway, that's it for me today. Continue to rock with your boy, JGoodWithSports, on social media, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm right here on the No Offense Radio app with the No Offense Network. I guess next time, maybe we talk about Deshaun Watson. Training camp is starting. There's still no verdict there. Cleveland Browns need to know. I guess, they need to know what's going on. For my fans, I want to know what's going on. But anyway, you all have a great day. You all rock. Let's finish the rest of this week of July strong. Next week is August. But yeah, you all have a good one. Peace.